Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, July 10th, 11:26 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. You're looking at some of the most recent footage coming out of Hawaii, the Big Island, Kilauea. You're looking at Fissure 8 channeling in the rift zone, and here we see the Lays plume, still a major threat to the people on that island. Now, what's happening with this huge extent of lays that's happening on this front is it's creating its own weather in the area of Pahoho and Leilani, where over 9 inches of rain have fallen in the last 24 hours. Amazing. And there is some other activity happening at Fissure 22, which is a little north of 8. And we're going to take a look at that right now. There's Fissure 8. And Fissure 22 is interacting with that 9 inches. Here's Fissure 22. It's a small little cinder cone that's exploding with Strombolian type eruptions. There you can see one of the explosions. And the hypothesis is that's interacting with the groundwater. But this is ongoing. It's not stopping. And there's some amazing footage from today of a massive seismic event. Now, let's take a look at this in great detail. Take a look. Watch it. Watch the shock wave. It was registered at 5.3 explosion. And this entire region from this rim forward is going to be missing soon. This is insane. This caldera is going to occupy several square miles in the near future. Mark my words. It's going to be the largest open caldera on Earth in a very short period of time based on the footage we just saw there. Go right back and let you take a look at it again. It's absolutely amazing. This is 24 hours ago. Watch the camera shake here. 5.3 explosion, and look at what is about to collapse down there in just a short period of time. This area is very unstable, and it's just amazing that we're getting this kind of coverage. Whew. Heads up. Thank you, Volcano YT and Big Island News. Let's come over and give Big Island News a big thumbs up here for that footage. Western monsoons, upper Midwest, severe storms, Atlantic tropical weather. Monsoon moisture continues to produce locally heavy rain and the threat of flash flooding across the desert Southwest and high-base thunderstorms that could ignite wildfires. Luckily, the monsoons have kicked in, and you can see the green areas where flash flood warnings and watches are located. If you don't know how to use weather.gov, you simply come over to the map and click on the area that you live in. I'm down here in the Four Corners, so I click on this region, and it would give me the local updates, watches, and warnings for my region. It's that simple. Here they are. I can't believe the computer's actually working. Here's the National Weather Service Forecast Office for Grand Junction, Colorado. You can see the green areas are flash flood watches and warnings from Pagosa to Durango up to Telluride. Hazardous weather outlook in the entire area. That's how you do that. Let's talk about some hail. Satellite imagery captures hail damage in South Dakota. We showed you this the other day. Here's the June 29th hail scar, hundreds of miles. The June 27th hail scar, here's Pierre. Severe storms often scar the land that move over in some cases. This was 4-inch hail in some areas, causing permanent damage to the land surface, destroying all crops in their wake, pummeling them, pureeing them. I mean, there's no other word except computer alert. That's the good word we should be using. I'm just going to take my time and be patient. Willow Bunch Golf Club battered by the size of hail, the size of golf balls, which what you would expect at a golf course. This is just happening July 10th. Just some of the hail reports coming out, and it's not looking good for the Plains region in Canada and the Dakotas. Damaging hail reported from storms passing through central Saskatchewan. This is voluminous hail. Voluminous. Environment Canada says severe thunderstorms produced large hail while moving through central Saskatchewan on the 7th. Multiple areas in the province were under severe thunderstorm watches. What's up with all the hail? How hail of all shapes and sizes form and falls from the sky. Now, hail forms from a convection current as rain droplets being sucked up in the updraft get recycled in thunderstorm fronts. In the most vigorous ones, where the coldest air is mixing with the warmest air, you get these major convections where hail can form. Major big hail forms when the different temperatures are the most extreme, causing major updrafts, holding heavy hail up into the upcycle for long periods of time before it can fall out. And there's some amazing hail size comparison charts here. And why would we need them? I mean, how big does hail actually come down? Hail comes down the size of grapefruits. In fact, the largest hailstone by circumference was recovered in Aurora, Nebraska in 2003. It was 7 inches in diameter, 18.75 in circumference. The biggest hail was in South Dakota, June 23rd, 2010. An 8-inch hailstone fell. And we're now exceeding 4.5 inches. So we're expecting by next year to be looking at 6 and 7-inch hail. Here's the average number of hail days. Alberta, right in this region, you're the worst hit. Little bit of British Columbia. You're getting links to all this. And here's hail activity in the United States. This is Hail Alley, as they call it. I'll leave you links to this map. Very important for those people living in Kansas. You're totally fluxed. Southern Nebraska, sections of Okie, and this major area comes right into Missouri. And if you live near Denver, you're totally heads up. It's only going to get worse for the next 10, 20 years. The next 2 years are going to be epic. More than 200 dead or missing, totally fluxed, as historic rainfall leaves authorities in a state of confusion in Japan. We showed you pictures. It was insane. Manufacturers exploding. More than 149 people have died. 59 are missing 5 days after the onset of the worst rainfall Japan has seen in 35 years. The next American farm bust is upon us. Shrinking rolling global grain market coupled with the strong dollar, higher costs for seeds. Thanks, Monsanto. Bayer et al. And now the grand solar minimum. Cosmic ray flux. The jet stream acting erratically as predicted. Seismic update. We have an amazing uptick off of Mayotte here. We're having another uptick in Madagascar. The only quake ticked off by this tropical storm was a 4.5 that we predicted, or 4.3 here in Taiwan, downgraded as usual. We're waiting for another quake in that area, but let's take a look at this quake swarm. This is insane. And what is probably happening here is an underwater volcano happening in this region. So there's no way to know that at this depth, but there could very well be a massive underwater volcano erupting in this region. And it could be related to the Madagascar quakes because of the proximity. So we could be seeing an eruption in this region as well as this region. There may be an ongoing eruption at depth at this ridge zone. It might be happening live, and we're just not getting the information. Now back to the explosion here. Can we Take a look one more time. Watch the camera shake. Not looking good up there at the main caldera in Kilauea. Worldwide volcano news update. Abico eruption happening. Reported volcanic ash observed. We also have Kaliminsk, Krakatoa, Dukono, Agung, Reventador, Sabancaya, et al., and on and on. Kaliminsk, volcanic ash was observed. Sabancaya, sporadic puff emissions. Dukono, continuous volcanic ash emissions. Agung, ground report, volcanic ash eruption. Now, this Krakatoa, we're going to be talking about major eruptions and some predictions I'll be making. This Krakatoa, the baby of Krakatoa, this eruption happening is continuous with volcanic explosions. The explosive activity of the volcano continues and seems to be increasing with Strombolian to Vulcanian-style eruptions from the summit crater. Ash plumes can be seen on satellite imagery now, almost daily, but so far have been low and do not affect air traffic significantly. This is something we really need to be keeping an eye on. Could be one of the VEI5 or graders happening, and we're going to be talking about that shortly, so bear with us. Latest paper predicting global warming could be far worse than predicted is totally full of hot air. This is by Christopher Monckton of Brenchley. Totally. Collapsing polar ice caps, we doubt it. The Green Sahara Desert, good thing. Look at that guy, he's so happy. A 20-foot sea level rise, nonsense. An artfully colored world map is usually bullocks, as far as I'm concerned. And so read the article. You might get something out of it. Let's get on with the update. Here's the real data. So they're basing this all on this temperature anomaly map where you see these dark red zones. Well, blue and green is below normal. And if you look at this map, I see more blue and green than red, which would be expected as we descend into the grand solar minimum. As global temps have dropped 0.67 C in the last 2 years, we would expect more blue and green than red. And that's exactly what you see on this map. You don't see the Earth burning up, as the alarmists are telling you. When you look at the facts, you see most of Canada, Greenland, Siberia, almost all of Africa, below normal, all of southern South America, all of Antarctica, except for this area here. So those are the facts, and I'll leave you links to that map so you can share it with your friends. Weather warning, Earth approaching prolonged solar minimum, sparking fears of cold shock. Well, they must have watched a few of our episodes. You're looking at the CMIP6 data, which suggests an extended period of solar decline through 2100 and on. And as a paleoclimatologist, I can assure you that we are at the end of the interstadial, which means it's going to get very cold for a very long time. 12,000 years. Asteroid 2018 NW flew past Earth at 0.32 lunar distance, the second at 0.3 lunar distance in 8 hours. What the is going on? I'm sure CNN isn't reporting on it. Hello, CNN. What's going on? Did you hear about the daylight fireball? We reported on it yesterday. 600 sightings. Just as the sun was setting in the Midwest on Sunday night, 600 people their pants. 600 sightings of a fireball soaring overhead reported from multiple states as Diamond's computer freezes up. Hey, have I told you that Pierce Corbin is going to be on the show? Yeah, tomorrow night. Yes, he speaks the truth. He does. This is his website, weatheraction.com, and he is the best weather forecaster over in the UK. He's going to be live with us on air, freedomslips.com, from 10 p.m. to midnight East Coast time. The rest of you figure it out. Now, I've never talked to Pierce. I'm going to do a little homework on him, and we're going to have an amazing conversation because we're like-minded. You know why? Because I checked out his website, and guess what? He uses the sun. Yeah, and space weather to predict the Earth weather. Imagine how that works. Now, he also exposes the fraud of manipulating data. Raw data, manipulated data. There's the real facts. There's the alarmists. Look at how manipulated that data is. That is insane that that's the world we live in. Here's the real temperature. If you're looking at the average temperature, you could see the 60-year multi-decadal ocean cycle called the AMOC or the PDO in effect here. You can also see that when we approach these grand minimas, like back here in the Centennial, you have major fluxes, just like we're hitting off right now, up and downs. But you can also see we're approaching some of the lowest temperatures since the 1880s. And as predicted, we should be dropping at least below 51 and into this realm in the next 10 years, unfortunately. But we're going to be talking to Piers about why he's so successful at predicting the weather. I wonder why. Now let's talk about some more alarming things. The list of quaternary volcanic eruptions. The reason I want to talk about this is because I want to make some predictions. Now, it's pretty easy to come and look at this data set, which I'm going to leave you links to, and you're going to be able to easily see that this Lackey complex is going to erupt again in the near future in a big way. It usually erupts at VEI 6 or better, and an estimated 120 million tons of sulfur dioxide were emitted, producing a volcanic winter in 1783. And this happened also back during the fall of Rome. So we're going to be looking for Lackey to come back awake. And also there is a lot of concern about Iceland when I looked at the data to be re-erupting in the near future. We're going to have a major VEI 4 to 6 coming off of Iceland in the next 10 years. It could be the next week. But anytime in the near future, we're looking for Iceland to erupt. Additionally, unfortunately for you guys in New Zealand, we're looking for Taupo to erupt again. Mount Tarawera is the volcano responsible for one of New Zealand's largest historic eruptions. Located 24 kilometers southeast of Rotorua in the North Island, it consists of a series of rhyolitic lava domes, which are not nice to erupt. Rhyolite is some of the most explosive and violent eruptions ever known to man, ever known to geologists. I've walked some rhyolite explosions that are insane. And the last time it happened was 1886 from the Dalton Minimum due to cosmic ray flux. And there are some rumblings under there. Also, take a look at this graph over here, sulfate concentration. We have a 5-year cyclic eruptive behavior. I see a cycle in here. So let's look for major eruptions happening once they begin every 5 years as we move forward, which is an unfortunate fact based on the periodicity of the data and what I'm looking at here. Also, a major eruption coming from Central America is imminent, as well as Cascadia. All happening soon, kids, and I'll leave you the list of the data, list of quaternary volcanic eruptions, all historical information, but based on the data that I have looked at and others are all imminent. Now here's my secret source for TSI, Solar Radiation and Climate Experiment. This is lasp.colorado.edu. It's source TSI data files where you can get up-to-date TSI information, including historical TSI reconstructions. So if you want to look at the total solar irradiance going back past the Maunder minimum and through the present, as you can see, it's dropping off the cliff here, soon to be well below Dalton minimum levels in just 2 years. I want to bring you over here to the most recent data, which is just the last several months. And you look at how the TSI is rapidly going up and down, spreading in amplitude from the previous. Here's the previous state. And in recent months, the amplitude is becoming quite erratic. Something to take note of. Just like the temperature is becoming quite erratic. Solutions, how to can tomatoes. If you don't know, the Old Farmer's Almanac, not only have they been using the sun to predict weather since the 1700s, like Pierce Corbin, who's going to be on the show tomorrow night, but they also know how to can food, and they know the 7 Ps, which is proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Are you prepared? We're not lying to you. You should learn how to can tomatoes. You should learn about astronomy. All the information is right here. You have no excuses. You should learn about the weather, the correct way to predict it, frost dates, weather charts. Do your homework. You could spend your entire lifetime on this website. If you don't spend a minute on it, you suck. There's more information on here than exists anywhere that you've ever looked at ever in your life. And if you're lazy, I'm challenging you to click on one of these things. It's not that hard. I'm showing you how to do it. Here's recipes. You want some advice? Stop paying the psychic. Come here. It's free. Zodiac, birthdays, puzzles. Do it. If you're addicted to shopping, here, buy some crap. Jesus. That's boom. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. We're still having computer trouble, but bear with me. New CMIP6 data suggests you should start preparing now. The shit's about to hit the fan. Be safe.